We do a lot of mowing out here on Piney Grove. We have a 0-turn, we have a 5-foot finish mower, we have a 6-foot finish mower, and we probably have some other mowers out here, but we have 20 acres of which 6 of it needs to be mowed. And what we found last year when we were trying to get these 6 acres mowed is that our blades would quickly get dull. Now we're in North Florida, so we don't have the greatest soil. It's very sandy, so even when you have a good grass cover, all of that sand and that grit gets sucked up into the mower deck and also some little pebbles, and it rounds the blades really quick. We found that if we do one good mowing of what needs to be mowed, that would be it for the mower blades, and they would actually start to wear and get a little hook. So that required a lot of grinding. And I tried several different ways to grind mower blades, clamping them to a sawhorse and then just freestyle using my grinder. And I tried hand filing, that didn't work for me. I tried a flap grinder, again just kind of clamping the blade to a sawhorse. But I knew there was a better way, and they make very expensive blade sharpeners where you take the blade and kind of run it through that sharpener just like a knife sharpener in your house. But they're very expensive, and I wasn't ready to invest in that. But a company called GSIP Automotive Parts, and we'll put all the information and all the links to everything down below of where you can get this. Not only this sharpener, but also the grinder that I'm using, and just kind of give you a complete list of things you'll need if you want to try this method or if you need these type of things to sharpen your blades. So they reached out to us and they said, we saw your videos and you're complaining about blade sharpening. Try our tool. I've already kind of played with it a little bit, and I think it's going to work really good. So what we have here is we have a graduated scale here, and you loosen a knob on the back, and that gives you your angle of your blade. Your grinder attaches to this point right here, and your blade attaches in here. It clamps in here with this little clamp. Now they give you everything that you need to put this together. So this is the main assembly, and this comes in the box like that. So you don't have to assemble this. They do say when you're mounting your grinder, you may have to turn this around, but this works for me in this configuration. So I'm gonna go ahead and set my blade. So that's 15 degrees, 20 degrees, 25 degrees, 30 degrees. Tighten this on the back side. That should lock in my 30 degrees. And also it's got little detents right there, so this blade angle shouldn't change because it's not only detented, but it's clamped with this little thumb screw. This is where your blade actually mounts, and this is how it mounts to either a vise or your workbench. So they give you this angle bracket. It goes right here, and they give you the 2 screws for that. A really good concept is on your grinder, you usually have 2 holes where you can put your handle, right or left side. On mine, I keep it on the left side if I have it on there at all. But they give you various size of these lugs that go into your grinder. So this is the size that fits my grinder. They also give you the nut for the different sizes, and you screw that in there. And this is what connects your grinder to their tool. So we'll tighten that up. That's probably a metric size, but I'm just going to use water pump pliers. It doesn't have to be very tight. And now that's in there. That's assembled. My grinder is ready to go. Now if you have this type of grinder, you may have to change the way that your guard goes in order to use this tool, but that's easy enough to do and figure out. So I think that's the right position for the guard to use it for the blades that I have. The next thing we'll do is we'll just put this piece of angle on here, and they provide the screws, and the screws have an Allen head. So it's a 5.5 millimeter Allen head. So we'll tighten this down, and then we'll mount this temporarily on a board because I don't have a workbench set up and I don't have a vise. So that's all it takes to put it together. Let's go over to where I'm going to mount it and show you how it works. There'll be a bunch of different ways that you can mount this, but what I'm going to do is take a couple of these cat's claw fasteners, and they are lag bolts with a Torx 25 head. They're real aggressive in their threads, And we're going to take that and screw it into this 6x6 in a way that the blade will hang off the side. The blade won't work that way because then the blade will hit the 6x6, so I think we're going to have to turn it the other way. This should work at the end of the 6x6. The blade goes here, so you want to have plenty of space on the back end of the tool. And also this arm has to swing right here. I think this will work. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 screws in and we'll go from there. I'm going to pre-drill it because the screw wants to follow the grains in the wood and I want it to go straight in and get all of these threads in this wood. It's pretty solid. Next step, we'll mount the blade. You'll get it in between these 4 screws right here. And they've got an angle on the end of them, so they'll kind of lock it in. This one has 3 points of contact. It's not contacting this one, but it blades in there pretty good. The next step is to put the guide pin of the angle grinder inside of this sleeve right here. And then what you do is just go up and down and it holds the right angle until your blade is sharp. And I can already see from sharpening this blade freehand that my angle is different here than it is here. Let's go ahead and try it. Well, already you can see how badly my angle was off from doing it freestyle. So I'm going to go ahead and change the angle so that I don't grind that much more of the blade. But going forward with new blades, I'm going to try and maintain that 30 degree. So we'll adjust that angle. We'll go 35, I think. We'll try 35 and see what that does to the blade. You can see where the grinder was just hitting the high edges there, and it would have been a long time before it did the whole cutting edge of the blade. That's much better. It's grinding the whole blade. Let's go down the length and see what it looks like down here. You can see how bad that angle is off too. So I guess I sharpened them with too much of an angle. This is 45 degrees I just changed it to. Now it's only hitting that part, not hitting this part. So in order to grind that, and that's really sharp right there, that's too sharp. You want it a little more blunt. I think I'm going to dial it back to 40 and do that. Guys, so far I am impressed with this thing. And I can't talk about the longevity of the product, but it doesn't seem like there's really anything that can fail here. First time I'm using it, so I'm just giving you my off-the-cuff, analysis and recommendation. But this thing is going to be a game changer. I really like the way that I was able to mount it to the 6x6. It makes it kind of portable. And this is a cordless grinder, so I could grind anywhere around the property. Let's go ahead and do this blade right here. This is going to be real time, so this is how long it takes to do a blade. I think my battery's dead. Well, my battery just died, but I don't think I would have to do much more sharpening. I just had to touch up the edge of that blade, and that took me less than a minute. Now, these blades had a rough sharpening on them, so a blade that was in a little bit worse condition would take a little bit longer. There you go. You can see how much I ground right there, that angle right there. With any new product, you never know how it will perform, but I can tell you that this thing really does work. I really like that it keeps the angle consistent, so it takes that human factor out of it. It's a fairly small form factor, so it's easy to store. It's light, and it just works really well. And I'm excited because this should reduce our sharpening time, and not only reduce our sharpening time on our blades, but give us more consistency in our angles, because what was apparent right away as I started to grind at the 30 degree, then the 35 degree, and the 40 degree, is when you do it manually or freestyle, you incorporate so many different angles in there because you can't hold the grinder perfectly straight, and this tool holds it straight for you. But that's all we got for today's video, folks. We'll leave links down below to everything we've used here today. We appreciate you watching. We appreciate your support. And until next time, remember, life's short, tractor hard.